The purpose of this video is to review over the various anatomical structures associated with the human ear. We'll begin with the external portion of the ear. First thing we want you to notice is as we look at the external portion of the ear, it is shaped very similar to a megaphone. Now a megaphone is designed to project sound outward, where when we look at our ear right here, this is designed to pull sound into the ear. The top part of the ear right here is called the auricle or pinna. The bottom section of the ear, right along here, is the lobule. When we look at the ear, if you were to put your finger in your ear or your pencil, this canal right here that your finger would go into is called the external auditory meatus or the external auditory canal. Now this section from the external auditory canal out is known as the outer ear. When we move into the middle part of the ear, that's going to include this section right here up to right about there. And what we're looking at within the middle ear is the tympanic membrane, which is located right there. The tympanic membrane is also known as the eardrum. A very common affliction of children is to have otis media, and that is an inflammation of the ear where we have fluid and pus that will build up behind the eardrum. In severe cases, it can actually cause the tympanum to bulge outward. And typical course of treatment would be antibiotics. However, if this condition persists, a small incision can be made within the tympanic membrane and a drainage tube can be inserted. This would allow for the fluid and the pus to drain out into the external portion of the ear. Typically, the tube would need to be in place for about a year, and that would handle any issues or conditions that are going on. Also associated with the ear, we have three small bones, or ossicles. In elementary school, they were commonly known as the hammer, anvil, and stirrup. However, they're scientific names, and we will zoom in. And as we look at the ear, the first one we're going to run across, and we'll just set this down so we can move it around. Here we go. And what we're going to see is this section right along there. That's going to be the incus. This one right along here is the malleus. And if we move right back up here, then we see the stapes. So we're going to put that little section back in. There we go. We have it in place. And so intact, again, we're going to see right here as being the tympanic membrane. This right here is going to be the malleus, the incus, and the stapes. Now that is attached to the vestibule. There are two parts of the vestibule. This section right here that's associated with these circular canals is called the utricle. And this section right along here that's not associated with the circle canals is called the saccule. The circle canals are called the semicircular canals. They contain fluid, and so as you move your head, that fluid will move, and there are little tiny hairs that are inside of here. The fluid will touch those hairs, and it will send a message to the brain indicating you're moving. So if an individual is suffering from dizziness, what they have going on is there's a message being sent by the semicircular canals that the individual's moving. The eyes are sending a message that they're standing still, and the brain is trying to interpret both of these different messages that conflict one another, and the result is dizziness. Now in this area we also have our bony labyrinth, and within this area there's two types of fluids that are located. We have the perilymph and the endolymph. Both of the fluids are potassium rich, and they help to allow sound vibrations to move through the ear and to reach this right here, this snail-shaped structure called the cochleus. Now the cochleus has a structure called the organ of Corti, and the sound vibrations will come through. They will enter the organ of Corti, the cochlea, and they'll move to the inside. So we're going to take this right here and we're going to pop that off so you can see the inside of the cochlea. And we're going to set this video down for just a second, let you look at it, take off that structure. There we go, finally got the sections apart. That's what they look like. Also, what we have going on within the cochlea is we have these little tiny hairs, and the hairs will be branching off at different locations. As the sound waves enter the cochlea, they're going to cause vibrations of the little hairs at the different locations within the cochlea, and that is going to indicate our different pitches of sound that we hear, whether they're high or they're low. If there's a section that's missing hairs, then that region would not be allowed to send signals about hearing in that range, and so a person would be tone deaf. The other thing we want you to notice is this structure right here. That is the Cochlear region. This section right here is the vestibular region. So both of these right here are the vestibular cochlear nerve or cranial nerve 8, and they will send their nerve messages back to the brain. So we're going to put this right back together, and we're just going to set that in there just along that area. I'm going to let you take a nice look at it, what we've done so far. There we go. And so one more time, we've got the pinna or the auricle, the lobule, the external auditory meatus. Right back there is the bony labyrinth. Right here we have the tympanic membrane or the eardrum. We have the incus, the malleus, the stapes, the vestibule with the utricle and the saccule, semicircular canals, the cochlea, the vestibular cochlear nerve or cranial nerve 8, and the last structure we want to go over is going to be right here, and that's the Estacin tube. The Estacin tube is the tube that has tubes placed in it. If an individual has ever had tubes in their ears as a child, that's where the tubes are placed. It widens this area up, and again, it keeps fluid from being trapped in that area. As far as the divisions of the ear, from here out, we have the outer ear. In this location right in here, we have the middle ear. And then from here back, we have the inner ear. Good luck studying, and as always, if you need additional help, just come by my room. We're always there and available.